foot and I got a nice car. Dancers love me at the bar. They see you coming, they run to the back. And why is that? Because you're whack. No one likes a garbage MC. You can't measure up to me. Gothic, gothic, gothic chick. I write a song and they all... Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule cause you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, cause I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast, and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts, and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati. Hardcore, fierce, and sexy. You're watching the MC Too Tall Show. I'm MC Too Tall, founding father figure of industrial rap, New York City Goth Scene ambassador, keeper of the chalice, master of sound quality, also known as Killer for real. And that's it. That's it, that's all, man. That's it, that's all. And so, people want to know, how does a person with deep-rooted hip-hop origins become a goth scene ambassador? Well, I had taken interest in industrial music, dark dance music, certain goth elements in the 90s. I've taken interest in that, and I know I wanted, when I rebooted my rap career, to take that shape, to go in that direction. Basically, add hip-hop elements to industrial music. And I wanted my beats to be unique. They didn't have to be melodic. They didn't even have to sound pretty. They could be noise. It could be experimental. And I figured out in my head, that's industrial enough to call it industrial rap. And I don't take credit for being the absolute first person to say that, although people do credit me for coining the phrase industrial rap. I don't take that credit. I believe there have been others who've actually used that term around the same time, maybe even slightly before me. One example out of the New England area, Malachi Macabre, spelled the same way as you would spell macabre, for example. And I've heard his music. It's pretty cool. And he's got a song called Blood, Blood, Kill, Kill. And I used to have that in my playlists often in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And it was pretty cool stuff. And I got to actually send him a friend request on MySpace. And we interacted a couple of times. You know, nothing that I think he would remember. I don't even remember the subject matter in our few correspondences, but, it is what it is. I'm not going to say that I know him like that and that we're like this, but, we did correspond a couple of times many, many years ago, like almost 20 years ago. I've also corresponded with Illegal people like that, but I'm not going to say I know these people like this. I would consider myself a great friend of Jane Bang and vice versa. I'm pretty cool with Jane Bang, if you remember her and her abilities and skills as an artist and as a DJ. To this day, wherever she is, I would say we're pretty cool. And a fellow supporter of our most righteous president of the 21st century. But anyway, getting back to how I became a goth scene ambassador. And remember that any given scene never has just one ambassador. There are a few people that give the scene or the community a good representation. And you also have to figure it's not just the community as a whole. Each city, each region, each area has several people that are like the go-to people that you associate with that community in that particular area. So, shout out to people like Carrie Monotrem, to Chris Smack, to Stalag Mike, DJ Angstek, DJ Krieg, formerly known as DJ Ski, and people like that. Shout out to also Pat Pervert, who is a DJ and also a member of the band Deviant Behavior. And so these are people that I'm cool with, always have been cool with. And as far as I could see with the naked eye, always will. Also, shout out to my good friend Sean Templar and his lovely wife, Mandana. Now, with that said, how did I get in? Well, I just started showing up to the clubs. Mingling, making friends with people, figuring out who the patrons were, who the promoters were, who the movers and shakers were, who were some of the super fans who brought other people into the clubs, that sort of thing. And while I was up and coming, I trickled in through the punk scene because South Brooklyn has its share of punk rockers, a lot, some up and coming, some old schoolers that have been doing it for decades, and I got to make friends with them. One of them was actually a co-worker of mine, a guy named Brian Dillon, who opened a lot of doors for me. There was an annual music festival that took place at Freddy's Bar and Back Room, back when it was on Dean Street. It was called Vladapalooza. The first one was in 2006. And then the following one was the following year, Vladapalooza 2, 3, and 4. Unfortunately, there were only 4 of them, but I was in attendance at the first one as part of the audience. And then the following 3, I was one of the actual performers. And it was a good time. I was very comfortable with that. And as other artists who appeared at this festival would book shows, I would get in there and I would bring my own instrumentals. But the best times I would have was when a musician from this band, or this band would get together and we'd form sort of a super group, and I would do my rap songs over their beats and instrumentations. And at a place like Otto's Shrunken Head, or a place called Otto's Shrunken Head on 14th Street in Manhattan, that's where the punks and goths would converge at a tiki bar. So it was like a goth and punk rock tiki bar. And they would have a goth night on Tuesdays. And I started showing up to that, made friends with the resident DJ, who eventually became my backup DJ at my live performances. And he was a goth, primarily a goth industrial DJ, although he was able to spin several genres in one night. And yeah, he would be my backup DJ. So with that, that was able to raise my platform, and I was able to gain some notoriety, credibility, that sort of thing. And my music was very well liked, and as an artist, I was very well respected. And when I started booking my own shows, it would be an awesome experience. I would have an annual event called MC Too Tall's Crash and Burn Birthday Bash. It would always be like around last week of August, first week of September, because my actual birthday is September 1st. And we had so many people in attendance at these events. I mean, these were not empty rooms when I would do the Crash and Burn Birthday Bash. And later on, when I started working with DJ El Nini, we brought the party into Brooklyn venues, various Brooklyn venues, and the party continued, just to a different crowd. But I remained relevant in the music scene for quite some time. But of course, there were some haters that had to like shoot it down on social media and things like that. And they did this because they found out through drips and drabs of what I would post that I had some conservative views. And of course, to some who are gatekeepers, having conservative views of any kind is a no-no. In other words, having common sense of any kind is a no-no. I mean, a simple thing like don't wear your kids pissed a lot of people off. I still say this, don't put a rag around your kid's ass and tie it around your neck. Don't put your kid in a harness and strap your kid to your chest. Either get a stroller or teach the kid how to walk. You could have a difference of opinion. That's okay. I respect that difference of opinion. But don't get angry at me saying what I say about it, in my opinion. So things like that. My refusal to condemn people who wear Ugg boots, even though I personally think Ugg boots are ugly. I believe it's their prerogative if they want to wear Ugg boots. But because I didn't condemn and insult people for wearing Ugg boots, got a lot of flack for that. I mean, stupid things like that. These are really stupid things. I think you would agree with me on that. And so this affected when and where I could book a show. This affected when and where other promoters could book me. This affected whether or not I could perform at a charity event that was partially my idea. It didn't make sense. But what I noticed, the commonality amongst these people that chipped away until it was harder for me to book shows was that they were all of a left-leaning political ideology.
And thus, I declared, the Democrats are my mortal foe. Anybody whose political ideology is anywhere left of center is my mortal foe. They are not friends, they are foes. It's not a difference of opinion of what's right for the whole of America or the whole of humanity. These people I see as not only enemies of me, but enemies of humanity as a whole. And that's what made me back out of doing live shows and doing these YouTube videos that you see me do that are mostly political, often wearing a MAGA hat. Because I got sick and tired of just keeping my mouth shut, listening to a complete lack of logic in the language spoken, a complete lack of logic in some of the statements I would hear about worldviews and things like that. And I figured, well, if I'm going to be canceled while being neutral, letting out only a few things accidentally because I can't help it, certain things just, to me, are basic common sense that all of humanity should have in common. And some people see it as a detriment to society. Certain basic things that I can't live without are considered by some on the left to be a total detriment to humanity. I might as well just put the music thing aside and just go all out and harpoon the left every second I get, every chance I get. And that's why I'm here doing these videos. It is personal. It is personal. It affected where I was in life, in the live music and entertainment industry. It affected where I was as a recording artist. It made me take huge hits for Crown Eagle Entertainment, which is the record label and promotion that is still alive and well that I run. Crown Eagle Entertainment. And there you have it. The liberals declared war on MC2 Toll and Crown Eagle Entertainment. Caused members to walk away. Caused members to turn against me. There's a former member of Crown Eagle Entertainment, full-fledged, once hugely loyal, who not only walked away, but doesn't talk to me anymore. And so I don't mention that person's name. As far as I'm concerned, that person never existed. And all that loyalty got flushed down the toilet. I rarely, if at all, acknowledge that happened anymore. So some people might drop the name when they see me. How is such and such? Where is such and such? Do you still talk to her? And I go out of my way to look at them like they got three heads. What are you talking about? Because worse than declaring a person an enemy, sometimes you have to will their relevance down to nothing. And yes, if that person wants to get mad at me, they're no longer relevant to me. Go your own way, whoever you are. You don't exist. You never existed to me. I never knew you, as it was once said by Jesus Christ himself. And so that's where we're at, folks. And if you notice, my videos are a little bit longer when I talk about me and my career path in the entertainment industry. But I hope this explained to you how somebody with hip-hop origins got to become a goth scene ambassador. Because as my popularity grew, those who were not of the New York City goth scene would see the name MC Too Tall on flyers and advertisements. They would see my face at websites and social media sites associated with the New York City goth scene. They got to recognize me. Whether or not people within the scene recognize me as a major player, a lot of the people from the outside looking in, and there's a lot more from the outside than the inside, they recognize me in their minds as a major player in the game. And considering all the things I've done for the scene, I was a major player in the game. And that's not overhype. That's not me embellishing. That's not me over-exaggerating. I did enough to call myself a major player in the game and be accurate about it. You know, I'm not a nobody. Nobody has the right to respond to this and say, you ain't special. I mean, I've done things to highlight who I am, and what I'm made of. And this is some serious talk here. I mean, I'm not living in a bubble. I'm not living in delusion. I know I've contributed to the New York City goth scene and given a lot of my time and effort and spent money, good money, in the New York City goth scene. Yes, I did a lot to uplift myself and Crown Eagle Entertainment, but I didn't do it just for myself. I've also helped promote other promoters' events and things like that. And I've done my share. I've done my share. I've done enough where I deserve to be recognized as much as I am. You know, I'm not just some guy that just rode in on somebody else's coattails and stabbed them in the back, like people tend to do in the music business. I'm not that guy. But here we are, folks. Here we are. And so many levels of hell, where belong the left? And crime runs rampant because of the Democrats. Anybody with a political ideology that is anywhere left of center is a detriment not only to America, but to humanity as a whole. And a lot of them are working with the Illuminati, or as I like to call it, the conglomerate of secret societies. Illuminati, that's that thing you need to watch out for, because they want to depopulate, enslave, and so much more. They want world domination, I'm telling you. They want world domination. And I'm here every day on YouTube telling you not to give in. And don't give them that world domination. Don't hand your little corner of the pie to them. Because they want the whole pie. They want full control. They want us all chained to a computer or working the fields, as they say. They want us out in the hot Carolina sun, working up a sweat for slave wages or for wages that we have to give back just to keep a roof over our heads. And they've shown their face, and their face is everything left of center. And even some Republicans are left of center. Even some who claim conservative are left of center, which is the enemy. The enemy. And this is why I'm still to this day a New York City Goth Scene ambassador without having to show this hardcore, fierce, and sexy face in the clubs since 2016. And that's in the actual goth clubs. But as a representative of the scene, I've shown my face in the clubs all the way through early 2019 and have made cameo appearances since. I've done a live performance outdoors in front of what was then called Cafe La Notte as recently as 2023, where I performed my song Slick, and I think it may have even been captured on video, and I did a fine job of it. It was great to reunite with DJ El Nene to get her done, and we got her done. And I believe right after that we did the song Bodies. We did a cover of Drowning Pool's Bodies, and that's a fun song to do. But I gotta admit, as I get older, I'm in my 50s now, so as I get older, it becomes a little bit harder to do and a little bit more draining to my physical presence. So, want to leave on a good note. Hope a good note is met on. And on to the I say, respect God, watch out for the Illuminati, like, follow, share, comment, subscribe, stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, industrial rap icon, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, New York City Goth Scene ambassador, hardcore, fierce, and sexy, killer for real, MC Tuto. You be good now.